Core Keeper, developed by Packstorm, turned out to be an amazing choice for me over the past few weeks. I have already spent 87 hours in game, and in this video I will quickly go over what I liked and disliked the most. I invite you to this short discourse. The first thing that stands out is the gameplay. Exploring a procedurally generated underground world with its calming mechanics was a pleasure. Mining, crafting, farming, fishing and other activities felt relaxing, like a remedy for the stress I have been dealing with lately. Whenever I got bored of that, the combat system had plenty to offer. The passive skill tree splits builds into three classic archetypes, melee, ranged and magic. You can mix things up and create custom setup. I went with mage build, focusing on high critical damage, and it worked exactly as I expected, melting bosses and enemies efficiently. When I ran out of mana, I switched to throwing daggers, which work pretty well most of the time. If you are into min-maxing, I highly recommend checking out the official Discord community. There are a lot of passionate players sharing optimized builds that can let you one-shot enemies if that's your thing. To my surprise, I had a lot of fun just idling by setting up automation, auto farms and even auto sorting system for my chests, which I learned from the community. It was useful and fun to create. I think this was the first time I spent more effort thinking about automatization than actually playing through the story, which was definitely a plus. The boss fights were entertaining for me. Each biome, boss mechanics and the music made the encounters unique. The first four bosses and the first two biomes, the middle ring, felt well balanced in terms of exploration, boss discovery and difficulty. After unlocking the rest of the game, things fell apart a bit. At first I would have rated the game 9 out of 10, but during the mid-late game it dropped to 6 out of 10, until I unlocked gates, portals for quick travel. After that my rating went back up to 8 out of 10, which is where I would place the game overall. Multiplayer was never an option for me since I played solo, but I can imagine it will be a huge plus for those who enjoys cooperation up to 8 players. No game is perfect and there were a few things I didn't like. The biggest issue for me was the grind in the later stages. The gameplay loop becomes repetitive. You gather better resources, craft better workbenches, get stronger gear, defeat bosses and repeat. I personally enjoy grinding games, but I can understand why some people left negative reviews about this aspect here. Another common complaint is the lack of direction. I didn't mind this at all. I prefer games that let me explore on my own instead of holding my hand with markers and pointers, but I saw many reviews from people who found it frustrating, so I get why it's an issue for some. Finally, the endgame left me feeling a bit disappointed. The other edges of the map don't offer much, and after beating all bosses and upgrading gear, there is nothing left to do except grinding stats and unlocking achievements. The realization that the game was coming to an end kind of ruined the vibe for me. I really think the developers should add more endgame content that will let the sandbox model of this game survive better. After the late game, it's not a deal breaker, but it would be highly appreciated. Overall, Core Keeper is an engaging, relaxing and addictive game. Automatization was a huge highlight for me, and the combat system and boss fights keep things interesting. The mid-late game balance has issues, but portals help improve the experience. For me, the game is an 8 out of 10. If the developers expand the endgame content, it could easily go higher. I still highly recommend it, especially if you enjoy grindy, exploration-based survival games. I also can't wait to see what developers are working on with the next game called Kiora. Looks really promising. Thanks for watching and let me know what you think in the comments. Happy leveling, adventurers!